What's going on, everybody? So today's video, it's gonna be a little long. Dr. Tim's fishless cycle. So it's gonna show you everything that I've gone through. Took 21 days for my cycle to actually complete. Following the instructions, usually by day 9, day 10, you're usually ready to go. I ended up getting up to day 21. You're gonna see some issues I had with ammonia in the video. In the beginning of the video, it's gonna seem kind of weird because I lost some footage or I didn't save some footage. But if you remember from my last video when I added my rockscape, right after that I started, filling my tank and then adding salt, and then you're gonna see some weird things that happen with the salt situation. I'm not, saying anything against the ocean. That's not what I'm saying. It's a great salt. I'm just, it's just my, I guess, I don't know if the math was not mathing for me, but it ended up taking more salt than expected to try to get my tank to 1.025, 1.026. But all in all, the process, it is very, you have to be patient. I did reach out to a couple of Facebook groups, get some opinions on, what's going on, what should I be doing, not trying to rush the process, but understanding what is going on. I'm new at it, so it is a learning curve. Although I've been trying to set this tank up for almost, quite a number of years. It has finally happened, and I'm so happy for it. But with that being said, just be patient in the first few minutes of the video. It'll seem a little weird, but once I start going through the Dr. Tim cycle, it's pretty much straight through day 1, day 21, and so on and so forth. So with that said, let's get right to it.
This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us.
Okay, reefers, so after I had put the time lapse of the tank filling up, I didn't record the entire process of filling it up. Lost some of the video. Right now I have it filled up. I finally got it dialed in. It was giving me a panic attack and trying to figure it out. And what I did was, in my sump, now just for redundancy, I just label it when the water line is off, where it should be, where it's on. Thank you for guys who was on Facebook trying to help me out, let me know. This should be around 50%, but I'm getting enough return so that way this is still going. Right now I have the return pump on because I now started putting on the ink birds to heat up the water. This thing is a pain in the butt. Now I have no idea which one of these is number 1 or number 2 to correspond to these plugs, because I have one 300 watt heater and one 200 watt heater. So if there's anybody that can tell me, let's just refer to the bottom one as plug 1 and the top one as plug 2. I would rather have my 300 watt heater be on plug 1 to represent, my starting temperature, and my backup, my 200 watt, to be at 78, or whichever way I decide. But at least let me know which one is plug 1 and which one is plug 2. So again, we'll put this one as plug number 1, which is currently right now my 300 watt, and plug 2 is my 200 watt. So if I have to put my 200 watt in the bottom position and my 300 watt on the top, again, plug 1, plug 2, just let me know. Once the water is, heated up and everything, I am going to then add the Dr. Tim's live nitrifying bacteria, and then I'll start working on the Dr. Tim's FISHLESS cycle process. I still have to create a schedule for the lights. I'm looking how to do that. And I also have my test kits down on the bottom. So hopefully things will start moving now. Alright guys, so you're not going to believe what I forgot to do. Kind of silly for actually forgetting it. This is one of the biggest steps. So after I had told you guys that I put the ink birds on to let the tank heat. It's been heating for about a day. And then I was going to actually put the live nitrifying bacteria into the fish tank. Forgetting that I didn't even put salt in the tank yet. So I'm going to go do that. Leave the tank overnight to kind of dissolve. So since the tank is now at operating temperatures, I'll do everything tomorrow. I'll put the nitrifying bacteria. But in the meantime, I just want to give you guys kind of an overview and get your guys' opinion that if I missed a step or if something doesn't seem right, some of you have more knowledge than I do. But let's look at on the top of the water box, see where my water level is, see the emergency drain. I got a little light here so you guys can take. So let me hop up here. Oops. So I don't know if you all can see, but that is where my water line is, my emergency drain. So it's like right underneath it. So I think I'm pretty good of where that should be. In terms of my sump, this is how much kind of water I have trickling into the filter socks area. There's no filter socks because I'm gonna, put the bacteria in. This is where my skimmer's not on because again, nothing's running yet. But where my water line is on my protein skimmer side. So please let me know if this is too much water or not enough water. And inside my sump, this is how much water I have going in. So usually when the sump's off, that's where the water is. This is where my pump is at right now. It's a little under. I guess I'll have some evaporation going on or something. So I have to fill it up. Right now, I think I'm getting enough flow back here. Yeah, it's pulling. Just to make sure things are good. ATO is still empty. I have the auto top off over there. But let me know what you guys think, if that's enough water currently. If that's enough water currently for the return line. And with that being said, let's put everything together and get the tank filled with salt now. So before I start filling the tank, I was just checking some of the directions. It's saying use half a cup of instant ocean salt per gallon. Total water volume for this is about 105, so I need about 53 cups, but I don't want to sit down with pouring 52 times. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a one cup measuring, and I was just on Google just double checking, so again, 103 gallons times half a cup, it's 52.65, which will be about 53 cups. But since I'm going to use 1 cup, it's going to be half of that, so it'll be like 26 and some change. I'll just round it up to 27, and that should give me 1.025, 1.026 salinity. So let's just start filling in, hope for the best. Alright guys, so now 27 cups of instant ocean has now gone into the tank. I'm hoping by tomorrow morning it's fully dissolved in the areas that are just kind of sitting there, and it's rotated. The water is rotated enough. I increased the wave maker's power to try to get some more circulation, to try to stir up the sand, and or at least the salt out of it. So tomorrow we'll check the salinity, and hopefully we'll be at 1.025, 1.026, and then we can add the bacteria in the morning. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, it's day 2. The salt's been in the tank overnight. Now, time to check the salinity. I know what you guys are gonna say. I have a refractometer and a, what's this, hydrometer. So I was trying to check it on here. I was trying to calibrate it. I don't know if it's giving me trouble, or I just don't know what I'm doing. But I also have this hydrometer, so let's kind of put this in here and just, get a good reading out of it. Let's see. Do I have to fill it up all the way? I'm not sure if I need to fill it up all the way. So let's just put it down. And what am I getting? I am nowhere near where I'm supposed to be in terms of salt level. I am 1.016. So I need to add more salt water. So I guess I'm assuming my math was wrong on needing 27 cups of water, because I'm only getting a reading of 1.016. So I'm going to now add more salt water and test it again later. So I'll take care of that, and then we'll test it later. Alright guys, so you all remembered when I had told you when we first added salt, the tank was only sitting at like 1.016. And I thought maybe something was wrong with either my fractometer or my hydrometer. So I took a sample of my water, went to my local fish store, and it was reading 1.016. They use a Hannah checker. I do need to invest in one of those, but that'll be later on. But since then, I probably must have added, on top of the 27, I did 4, 31, did another 10. I must have did about like 47, maybe 48 cups, full cups of Instant Ocean in order to get right now my reading right now. As you can see, I am sitting at 1.025, which is fine. I would like it at 1.026, but I can now shut everything down, add the bacteria, and let it sit there for a few hours, and then start back the pump. So once I end up having to do a water change, I'll then mix the salt according directly to how the instruction says. I'll use a half a cup per gallon. So I'll probably do like a 10-gallon water change, not a 20, and make it at 1.026, and then raise it back up to the salinity of the tank to 1.026. So that way everything is fine. Alright guys, so we're going to consider this now day 1. I'm going to add the Dr. Tim's bacteria after I already turned off the overflow and the wave maker. So I do have the trusty bottle here. I'm going to put the entire bottle. So let's get everything in the tank. It's going to be cloudy for a while, so we'll let the bacteria does its thing. Get it all in there. And this bottle treats 120 gallons, but you can't overdose this stuff anyway, so. All right. So now, while that's doing that, we'll wait for it to clear up, and then we'll add the ammonia. All right, so it's been about 30-40 minutes. I've let the tank, I mean, it's still kind of hazy, but the bacteria is mostly kind of down here, but there is still kind of a little faint cloudiness here. So we're gonna add the ammonia, and then turn back on the return pump, get everything running, and then tomorrow we will start doing testing. So we'll do the testing tomorrow. So let's get the ammonia. Now the ammonia is, what is it, 4 drops per gallon. I have 110 gallons, 105, so it's about 18-20 ml. So I have everything measured out here, and let's start putting let's get some on this side. Let's move this mesh back over here. I'll open up a fish feeder portal, and then let's just add the rest on this side. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is now starting. So I'll turn back on the return pumps, and tomorrow we'll do the first series of tests for the next few days. Alright guys, it is day 2. The lights are off, everything's off. Don't see any changes into the sand bed. Everything seems fine. So we're gonna start with the testing now. So let's go do that. Alright, so first off, these test tubes, be careful with them. I was taking the cap off. For some reason the caps were super stuck on them, and I ended up breaking one, and they're glass, or something like glass. So I have my Dr. Tim's instructions. So we're gonna start with pH. We need 5 drops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just gonna cover it up. Give it a couple of minutes. It is 9:33, so we need 5 minutes. So by 9:38, nitrite solutions, we need 5 drops of this. 1, 2, 5. And for the ammonia, we need bottle 1. We need 8 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. And bottle number 2, we need another 8 drops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just get these covered back quickly. Give me 1 second and we'll look at the test results. Alright guys, so pH, we're looking about, let's see, on camera it may look a little darker, but from my view it's about 7.8, maybe 8. Nitrite, we're looking at 0. Ammonia looks to be between 0 and 5 ppm. So that's day 1 right now. I do know there's some instructions on here. If your pH is below 7, which says it here, if you look on it, if it's below 7, do a 25 to 30% water change. The higher the pH, the better, up to 8.5. So we're sitting at, you know, between 7.8, 8.0. So we're good there. Our nitrite is sitting at 0. And our ammonia, which is kind of green for some reason, is not even, oh, I'm looking at the nitrates. I am so sorry, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at nitrates. My ammonia is actually sitting at let's see, what are we looking at? Let's see. We're not there. Maybe we're looking at close to 2 parts per million. So ammonia is sitting at 2 parts per million. So that's day number 2. We'll check on day number 3 and see what the results are. Alright guys, it is day 3. I think I see some brown. Not really. Rocks seem to be doing okay. So nothing going on there. So I'm going to run the test kits and check out parameters. Alright guys, so I ran the tests right now. So let's see where we're at. pH, we are sitting about, let's see, looks on live, 7.8. Nitrite, and I'm gonna get this right this time. Nitrite, I'm sitting at 0. Ammonia, let's get this right today. Ammonia, I am sitting 0.50 ppm. And today I decided to test nitrate. Nitrates, I am sitting at, looks to be 10 parts per million. So the instructions add for day 3 is to add ammonia again. So So I am under what the recommended. I'm not above 5. So I can add ammonia. So what I'm going to do is add 20 ml of ammonia again into the tank. So let's get ready to do that. Alright, so we got the ammonia, and we're just going to add it in a couple of spots in the overflow. And that is day 3. So I'll see everybody tomorrow, and we'll do day 4 of testing. Alright guys, so today is day 4, and I don't see any difference in the sand bed. So we're gonna do testing. Everything is still off. Now, normally after 48 hours, the skimmer is supposed to turn on. I am gonna try something where I'm not gonna turn on the skimmer. And the only reason why I'm thinking that is because there is no bio load in here. So if I'm pulling out the skim, there's nothing for the tank to run off of. So maybe once the cycle is over, I will turn on the skimmer, but I still need to turn it on to break it in. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm trying to see if I'm seeing any browning. I don't see anything that's different than normal. So I've ran the tests already. Don't need you guys. Everybody knows how to do the test kits. It's adding the drops in the water. I'm not going to do that. But pH is 7.8. Yeah, pH is 7.8. Ammonia is sitting at, let's see, on camera it may look darker, but on my light I'm reading 2 parts per million. Nitrite I'm reading 0, and nitrates I am reading, let's see, what are we reading on nitrates? .20 parts per million. So the cycle is happening. I'm not seeing, looks like everything is getting converted. So I don't need to do any water changes. This is just day 4 of normal testing. So we'll come back on day 5 and we will test again. Okay, today is day 5 of the Dr. Tim cycle. The sand bed is looking pretty clean. Rocks are looking pretty good. Lights are still off. Skimmer is still off. So let's go run the tests and see where we're at in terms of the parameters. Okay, so I ran the tests now, so let's see where our numbers are. I'm just gonna wait. Let's go. All right, so pH first is 7.8. Nitrite, we're sitting at 0. Nitrates looks at looks to be 10 ppm, and yesterday it was 20, so nitrates are starting to lower. My ammonia is now maybe 4 parts per million. Yes, my ammonia is 4 parts. It's hard to tell still. Yeah, I think 4 parts per million is what it looks like. Alright, so that's day 5. Day 6 should be the last time we're adding ammonia drops. And we'll take it from there. I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Okay, today is day 6. Sand bed is great. Nothing on the glass, no algae blooming on the glass. So let's go see the test kits and let's go see what they're saying. I still don't have the filter socks in or the skimmer on. I'm deviating away from the actual steps of the Dr. Tim cycle. Just because I think there's just so little what's going on in the tank in terms of cycling it. If I start pulling it out, I'm like gonna pull it out. But if the numbers are too high, then I'll turn them on and we'll work from right there. So let's go check the test results. Alright, so I ran the test results. So pH today is, it's a lot more. My pH is sitting, let's see, about 8.2, which pH has been 7.8 consistently, so that's kind of gone up. Ammonia, we're sitting at 2 parts per million. Nitrite is 0. Nitrite is 0. And nitrates we're at looks to be 5 parts per million, maybe 10, so we're somewhere in the middle between 5 and 10, maybe more towards 10. So today is a dosing day, so I'm gonna dose ammonia, and I'll probably turn on the skimmers and stuff today, so let's do that. So we have the ammonia. We're just gonna dose straight into the wave maker so it can get all around. And based off tomorrow results, that's probably when I will turn on the skimmer if I don't see the numbers start dropping. Alright, so I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next one. Alright guys, today is day 7 of the Dr. Tim's cycle. The lights are off still, the skimmer's still off. I was trying to play with it last night, trying to, start it so it could try to break in. It was just bubbling over. That is to be expected because it's not broken in. So I will, turn it on at some point, but I was just trying to play around with it a little bit. Sand bed, I'm not seeing any diatoms or browning, anything. The rock seems okay. The glass, I'm not seeing any buildup of film or anything. It's all looking pretty good. So let's go look at the tests and see where we're at today. Okay, so after 5 minutes of testing, our pH is back down to 7.8. Yesterday it was a little over 8.4, so the pH went down a little bit. My ammonia is now sitting at 4 parts per million. So I'm not seeing ammonia decrease, so I may have to turn on the skimmer. Maybe that will help my situation here. Nitrates are still 0. Still light blue. I'm sorry, nitrites. I keep getting the two confused. Nitrite are 0. Nitrates are sitting let's see, we are sitting at 10 parts per million. So nitrates are at 10. So that is day 7. Let's see where we're going to be at by day 9. If by day 9 I don't see a reduction in ammonia, I'm going to turn on the skimmer and leave it, let it break in, and maybe that will get me into removing the ammonia, dropping down to 0. So we'll check tomorrow and see where we're at again. Thanks, guys. Alright, today is day 8. Still not seeing any changes with the sand. Nothing is on the rock. The glass still looks good. What I did yesterday, I did turn on the skimmer. I put a filter sock in and I turned on the skimmer just because everything here is brand new and I want to get the skimmer broken in. So the cup is off because it's constantly overflowing. I'm making, micro adjustments, but there's still a lot of bubbles that are kind of escaping. You can't really see it, but there's like little bubbles coming up. So I'm making little tweaks to that. So that's doing its thing right now. So let's go to the table and see where we at with our test kits are. Alright, so our pH is sitting at 7.8. Nitrite is still reading 0 now, which I believe is good because then the cycle is happening that I haven't seen anything, so it's converting over to nitrate. The ammonia is going up. I'm not seeing, I'm now sitting at 8 parts per million on ammonia, so my ammonia seems to be going up. So hopefully things start changing better because it's been 5 minutes and this is what I'm reading. Today is day 9. Technically I should be able to add fish, but we have to test first. Our pH is reading 7.8 like normal. Our ammonia is reading maybe 2 parts per million right now. I think I have like 2 or 3 more minutes for this test, so I'll check this again. Nitrite, non-existent, or maybe a little hint of purple. Looks a little maybe a little bit of, it's a little bit different than normal, maybe between here, so maybe that's a good thing. And nitrate, or nitrates, we're still reading, let's get closer, focus, there we go, still 20. So according to Dr. Tim, day 9 should be able to add fish, but ammonia is still reading high. And if I look back, if I kind of track back from when I added ammonia from day 1, day 2, ammonia was at 2, then it dropped a little bit, then it went back up to 2 to 4, then it's up to 4 on day 5. On day 6, it's back down to 2. Day 7 is on 4. Day 8 is on 8, and day 9, it looks like I'm reading, I don't know, 4 to 8 parts per million. I'm not sure if my cycle is stalled or what's going on, but I'm reading that so far. 4 to 8. So hopefully maybe I'll do a water change around here, but I'm not going to touch anything. Leave the cycle, let it doing what it's doing. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. This is day 10. The Dr. Tim's fishless cycle. Lights are still off. Not seeing any changes in the sand bed still. I'm not sure if, as you guys remember yesterday on day 9, ammonia was like above 8, so I think maybe the cycle had stalled. So I don't know, based off today's tests, we'll see what's happening. I may end up just doing a small 5-gallon water change to probably help the cycle back in its get it kick-started again. I have the skimmer now running. I kind of got it pretty, I guess, dialed in. It's very wet right now, but there's still a lot of bubbles, so it's still in the breaking process, but it is getting there now. So let's see what the test results say. Okay, so we have pH sitting at 7.8. Nitrite, we are now, this is different now. Nitrites are now sitting at 0.50. So there's something happening now. Ammonia has now looked to drop a little. So let's see, ammonia looks to be about between 2 and 4, maybe 2 ppm, possibly 4, but there's something happening with nitrite. Now my nitrates, I'm pretty sure, are going up. Let's see what nitrates are. Probably sitting at 40 parts per million now. So it looks like, just to be sure, I'll probably run the nitrite solution one more time to see if I'm going to get the same results. But yeah, it looks like something's happening. I mean, ammonia is maybe 4. So I may end up still doing the water change, but I'll wait maybe until tomorrow and see if anything changes between nitrite and ammonia. So we'll check back in tomorrow and see what's going on day 11. All right, this is day 12. No testing done yesterday. Just kind of let it be. We're gonna test the tank, see where our parameters are. If ammonia is still very high, I may do a water change today. So let's go see what the test results are and see where we're taking it today. Okay, so after the test results, we have nitrites have gone up quite a bit, and we're looking at, it's hard to tell. Let's see if we can get in there. looks to be 1 part per million for nitrite, which means the cycle is happening still. So my ammonia possibly looks, let's see where we're looking at. I would say maybe 4 ppm. I don't think it's so green anymore. The reflection is getting in the way. On the video it looks a lot higher, but actually it's looking kind of dark green. Alright, let's just say we're sitting at 4. My pH is 7.8. That's pretty much easy. Nitrates, those are going up. It's getting darker. I'm now sitting, let's see where we're sitting at. Let's see. Nitrates are increasing. I would say somewhere between 40 and 80. I would say about 40 ppm. So the cycle, there is bacteria colonized. Now if my nitrites ends up increasing a lot over the 5 and I don't see a reduction in ammonia, I'm going to do the water change. Because I do see the cycle process happening, but I'm not seeing a fast enough reduction in ammonia. Ammonia is still high. So I'm not gonna do the water change. I'm gonna leave it. All right, we're sitting at day 13. And if you guys remember on day 12, when I did the test, pH was 7.8, the nitrites was sitting at 1, ammonia was like well above 8, and my nitrates were sitting maybe 40 ppm. And I did do a water change on day 12 just because of the ammonia going so much. So today we're sitting at, for pH, we're sitting 7.8 still on pH. Nitrites, we are sitting still at 1 ppm. Ammonia, which looks like the water change did help a little bit, we're sitting at 2 ppm now. So now the ammonia did drop a little bit, so which is good to hear, which is good to see. Now on camera it looks darker to 4, but in actual lighting we're sitting about 2. Actually, with the lighting, let's see, but it looks to be, it's not so dark anymore. We're sitting between 2 and 4, which is fine. Things are now progressive. Now, considering for nitrates, I would have thought nitrates would have dropped a little bit, but nitrates looks like they're still sitting at 40. So I'm not gonna do another water change. I'm just gonna leave it, let it be now. And then once the tank has now cycled, then I will do a big water change. I'll probably do like, a 40-gallon water change and see if that'll bring down the levels once the tank has now fully cycled. So this is day 13. Just have to be patient and just let it ride now. Thanks, guys. Let's see what happens on day 14. All right, it is day 14. Nothing has changed in terms of inside the tank. Lights are still off. Protein skimmer's off. If you guys remember on day 12, I did a water change. So since it's day 14, normally on the Dr. Tim cycle, it says to do a water change, but not gonna do the water change until I start seeing the nitrites and the ammonia coming down. So I'm using my Hannah checker today, so I still have about 4 minutes left on that test, and I still have some time on these tests here. But in terms of pH, 7.8. Ammonia has dropped. So right now we're sitting 0.25. So ammonia is sitting at 0.25, and nitrites are sitting at nitrites are sitting at, hard to tell, 1 ppm. So far that has gone down extremely well, and we're just waiting now for the nitrate. So once that timer ticks down, we'll start back. Okay, so let's see what we're reading at nitrates. Ooh, nitrates are sitting at 41 ppm. So we're sitting just about, if we go off of here, that's where we're looking at that color. Now the more I look at the ammonia, the more it looks maybe like 2 parts per million. When I hold it upright with the light, looks like 0.5. So I'm either at 0.5 looking at this way, or when I look at it this way, it looks like 2. But on camera it looks darker, which looks like 4, but an actual color from the eye coloring, it looks like 2 this way and 0.5 this way. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. If I hold it up that way, if I'm looking at it, looks like 0.5 this way, 0.2. Well, I'm in this range here, so that's a good thing. So we'll see on day 15 where we're at. Okay, today is day 15, Dr. Tim's fishless cycle. I cleaned off the glass a little bit today. I know there was like a film on it. There's still some around, but I guess that's like the bacteria that's on the glass. I'd rather try to get it onto the rock, so scraped it off. Sand is all fine. Not seeing any, changes to the sand. Maybe a little bit in there, in that little crevice of the rock. Maybe that's just the same as always. So let's see where we're reading in terms of the tests. Okay, so for pH, as always, we're sitting at 7.8. Ammonia, we are sitting, let's see, where are we sitting at? What does that look like? 0.5. Ammonia looks to be at 0.5 now. If I hold it this way, on the camera it looks like a 2, but in the actual light it looks more of 0.5. So we're going to call it 0.5. Nitrite, we're sitting, it's pretty dark. I'm going to say, let's see, it's hard to tell for the nitrite, but nitrite is pretty dark. It's pretty up there. So, yo, ammonia is falling on the floor. Gotta catch it. Let's see, on camera, looks to be about 2. So we'll call it 2 ppm. And last night I had the Hannah checker, but I didn't pull it out today. I just wanted to do this quickly. So I know yesterday we were sitting at 40, but now we're reading much higher. In terms of nitrate. So we're looking to be reading about 80. So the cycle is happening. I mean, ammonia is now dropping, which is a good thing finally. The nitrites are increasing and my nitrates are going up. So I'm going to have to do a bigger water change, maybe more than 20 gallons. Maybe have to do maybe a 30-gallon water change, maybe 50% at this point, to bring down all of those nitrates eventually. So we'll see what happens and we'll check on day 16. Today is day 16. The sand still looks nice and clean. Rocks are still clean. Just waiting for the tests to finish calculating, and we're gonna see what the results are so far. Alright, so pH is 7.8. Ammonia, it's very light. We're getting there. Looks to be almost 0, so looks more or less 0.25. So that's good. Nitrite, it is very dark. I think we're probably sitting at 5 or 2. It's kind of hard. Both colors look exactly the same. So let's see. I think let's just call it like 4. And my nitrates are, we're in the red. We're in danger. So once that starts going down, I'll do a big water change. But this is like well over 80, maybe somewhere 100. I'll use a Hannah checker and see exactly what the exact number is, but just visually, nitrites are converting to nitrate. Okay, we are on day number 18. Lights have been off the entire time. Skimmer has been off. Okay, so the nitrate checker still got a couple of seconds in order to read, but look what we have. We're reading 0 ammonia. So it's taken 18 days of the fishless cycle to get 0 ammonia. My pH is 7.8. Nitrite is sitting at just about 2 ppm. So it's not so dark anymore. It's actually, kind of light. So it looks to be just about 2. And my nitrates are reading 45. But when I use the API, it looks so red that I think it's like well above 80. So nitrites are getting converted into nitrates. So that's fine. I just wanted to kind of get an accurate reading, but if that's saying 45, when I use API test kits, it's saying like 80 to 160. But you know, it's just the API is just more for visualization, so I'll go off the HANA. So 45 is, you know, should be doing water changes once the cycle finishes, but I predict within a few days nitrite will begin to drop rapidly, and then once I read 0 nitrites and 0 ammonia, I will then dose ammonia one more time just to make sure it will read over. So we'll see what happens on day 18. So see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys, it is day 19 and it's just about 11 o'clock in the night. So it's actually been more than 24 hours from day 18, but we already know ammonia zeroed out on day 18, and as of yesterday, nitrites were reading 2 ppm. Today, on day 19, we are reading 0.25 on nitrites. So I can expect by tomorrow on day 20, somewhere in the afternoon, nitrite will zero out. And then what I'll do is I have very little ammonia chloride left. I don't even know if I have like enough for 2 ppm, but I maybe have like, I don't know, maybe 2 ml, maybe at that most. I'll dose that and see what happens, but I'm going to prepare 25 gallons for a water change, because I am already know, like we all know, my nitrates were based off the last HANA check and reading I had like 40.5. So I do expect that it maybe creeped up a little bit since this has converted more to nitrate. So we'll see what happens on day 20. All right, we have day 20, and as you can see, after 5 minutes, we are reading 0 nitrite. We know ammonia is zeroed out, nitrite is 0. So what I'm going to do is I have this a little, focus, there we go. I have a little bit of ammonia chloride because this is all I had left, which is about maybe, let's see, if I get in there, maybe about 2.5 ml. So I know it's not 2 ppm, but this is what I have left. So if I dose this and tomorrow I'm still reading 0 ammonia nitrate, I am going to then do a water change, and then we are fully cycled. So we'll see what happens later on and tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is day 21. So the tank is cycled, 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite. Nitrates are there, obviously. I am actually in the process of doing a water change. I'm doing about 25 gallons. What I did was, in order for me to kind of remember how to do this properly, it may look kind of bad, but I'm labeling from when this is like my normal water level, where the tank normally is. Once I shut off the return pump, I drain 10 gallon, drained 15, drained 20, 25 gallons. So that's what I'm working on right now, is a 25 gallon water change. Which, funny thing, it looks like, well, almost close to 50%, which, nah, 50% is much lower. It's probably like right around here. Yeah, so we're fine. So yeah, I'm in the process of the water change. So that is the Dr. Tim's fishless cycle. Did it take us longer than normal to cycle the tank? Yeah. You guys saw how my ammonia just kind of skyrocketed and it just kind of went all over the place. I did a small water change to try to get it back on track. Once I got it back on track, things started moving quicker. And then I just left the skimmer off. I only turned it on to try to get it broken in because it's a brand new one. So that was the reason why it was on. The lights have been off the entire time, and the skimmer's been off. So thumbs up, it did work. Took longer than expected, but every tank is different. So 21 days was my cycle. But if you guys liked the video, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you all think. What would you have done differently? And like and subscribe. And hopefully on my next video, you guys can come with me on my journey to going to my local fish store and buying my first fish. So I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys.